Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Live from the virtual Daytona International Raceway, it is Speed Weeks for the Cyber 500. Welcome everyone to Green Flag TV, here along for the Duels for the Cyber 500, which will happen tonight. I am Derek Watson, sitting next to Morgan Cook, who's going to be both producing and providing color commentary on tonight's actions. And Morgan, we're at a foggy, a hazy, a Silent Hill-esque Daytona here tonight.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly going to try and do production and commentary tonight, absolutely. But you're right, it is hard to see out here for these drivers as well. For us up in the booth, it's going to be difficult to navigate these two duels we have on tap for you tonight.
And that fog and that haze will likely provide a couple of challenges for the drivers, not just for the cameras, but sometimes with this fog, Morgan, this means that a wreck happens. Say if you're, in one and a wreck happens out of two, your visibility is about zero in a condition like this.
It can definitely be difficult to avoid the crashes when you can see everything as you wish to. And all of a sudden you throw in a little bit of a wrinkle with the fog and you can have difficulty getting around traffic. Absolutely.
So this is how it's going to work tonight. We'll have two separate dual races. Each going to be separate here, 40 laps apiece. This will set the field for the Cyber 500. Myself, Nolan Rimple, on the call Sunday at noon Eastern Time for the full-length Cyber 500, yet another year of it being live on Green Flag TV. So waiting for the practice to end up here. That's what you're watching right now. Checkered flag is in the air, and then we'll get ready to line up the grid here at Daytona. And whenever we're ready, we'll put up the starting grid, and we'll walk through it here, let's say 10 by 10, and we'll see how it's going to go here at Daytona. Starting with your pole sitter, that is going, nope, sorry, that was me guessing a little ahead. Let's try it again here in a moment. Morgan got me there. No, we'll try it again here in a moment.
We're working on it.
Get a grid here. I was ready to go. I was right through that wall head first, and not quite there yet. But happy along for the ride tonight. Maybe the fog's going to lift a little for the race. Wait and see. There's our grid. It's Jarrett Kimball up in the 33 car up in P1 next to the 89 of Philip Van Vliet. Back in P3, you'll find Greg Mitchell next to Mike Stuyvesant back in P4 in that 20 car. P5, you'll find Chris Rose, and he is next to Cody Gibson in the 1. Then for P7, you'll find Carter Lawson in the 98. He's next to Lee Campbell in the 60. P9, you'll find Matthew Simple in the 16, and he is next to the 00 of Brad Holmes, Morgan.
11th spot going to be occupied by Andrew Caldwell to start this thing off. Amanda Sherman will start in the 12th position. Row number 7 belongs to Jason Raymond and Tanner Marr as we get this thing rolling here in just a moment. Final row on the grid, Dustin Ping in the 81, and Ari Heinzman starts in the 16th spot.
That's a look top to bottom in tonight's grid for heat number 1. One car is going to start from pit road. We'll cover that in a little bit here, but remember, everyone does advance tonight, Morgan. So this is not an eliminator like you may see in some of the bigger leagues or maybe in real life where they sign up, the hundreds and hundreds of cars, work our way through. Everyone advances. So heat 1 inside lane for Daytona. Everything comes down to this.
It absolutely does. You're just going to have to run your best in this race as well as the one after this to be able to line up where you need to for the 500 on Sunday, as you mentioned. And this is where you set your qualifying effort.
So 40 laps on the books. That means very likely if we stay green the whole way, no pit stop needed. Let me double check the rules of the server real quick here, as I said something out loud without thinking it through. So 1 second here. Yeah, full gas tank. So I would suspect 40 lap. No pit stops if we stay green. Everyone has the gas. Everyone has the tires. This is all about pure racing to find your way up front.
Well, let's get them racked up as we are right now. Pace car should dive down to pit road as we exit turn 4. Get this thing underway and get these cars wound up.
Certainly will be the 33 and the 89 front row, waiting for the pace car to make that turn. Happy here on Green Flag TV. Again, Derek Watson, Morgan Cook here on the call, with Morgan also pushing the buttons. Going to make me look and sound good down in that production truck, and the pace car is just about ready for that turn. When after that, it'll be in the hands of Barney, the flag man. We'll come around here and wait for the restart zone. Green flag will fly, and we'll go green at Daytona. Come around turns 1 here, still 2 by 2, the same way the ants go marching in all the way through the pack. That one car that started from pit road, that I believe to be Brad Holmes, by the way, back there. So he'll need to find a way for a caution to happen for him to get caught up to the field. But down this line here, Morgan, it's just 2 by 2 racing with lots of pushing going on.
Yeah, both lanes even at this point in time. No one has the advantage at the moment. Top 2, now top 3 in each lane getting put together here. See if a run can develop.
Run can develop possibly now through the try over here. Pie the line the first time. Who leads? It's going to be the 89 up top by about a nose. That's your first leader officially. It's going to be Philip Van Vliet. He'll lead a lap here at Daytona, but Morgan, so far everyone seems calm, but that top lane has that one big gap that's going to hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, about 5 cars back right behind the 88. You have this this gap here, as you mentioned. And that will definitely hurt aerodynamically this entire line. The more you can get those cars packed up and packed together, the better off you will be.
Now that top lane's starting to get a bit of momentum. Oh, there's a second car pulling out of lane. I thought, nope, he did pull out of lane. But that bottom with the Home Depot car, the number 20, that is Mike Stuyvesant. He wants to lead the lap here. And Stuyvesant made a very sudden snap move. Morgan, that's the way you have to do it at Daytona.
I always say you have to be deliberate and you have to be decisive. You can't do lazy blocks or lazy moves. That's how you get turned and put in the inside retaining wall, as Heinzman sets the fast lap of the day with a 47.24.
Even that bottom lane now starting to move a little bit here. That 20 car is going to lead the lane here. You see from the camera on the front straight, it's Stuyvesant on the inside. It's Jarrett Camille on the outside. And they're still about door to door here. There's 2 long lines. Remember, this race determines the inside lane for the Cyber 500 on Sunday.
You're going to want to finish as high up to the front as you can, although at Daytona, it doesn't particularly matter where you finish or where you start. It all matters where you finish in that big race on Sunday.
And now the bottom lane's getting some momentum. Now it's going to be the 20, it's going to be the 33, the 55, even the 07, I think, maybe all clear on that bottom lane here. So a big run happening. Now something to talk about, and I'm sure we'll hit it a couple times tonight, Morgan. About 2 weeks ago now, an update to iRacing came to these next-gen Cup cars that involves the way you draft. There's really no more slam drafting. It's not reliable anymore. Now, for the first time, and very uncomfortably, we push the pusher at Daytona.
Yeah, pushing the pusher, scary business here in these cars on this service with the way that the internet traffic works with netcode and all of that. Very difficult to reliably push someone who is already pushing someone. Very easy to kind of squirt somebody out of line and cause a big accident. So drivers going to be careful of that all night, but maybe walk the line to find a little bit of speed by pushing the pusher.
But I saw a comment in the YouTube chat. Yes, it is that foggy at the track. That's the fog we're dealing with the cameras here. So we're not adding any extra cool, effects, post-apocalyptic, what do you even call it? Those are that's the effect. I'm waiting for like a 28 Days Later movie to pop out here in the infield somewhere, like a Zombieland reboot or something.
Watching Semple here, trying to lead the outside lane. It is so difficult to lead and be the pusher in this outside lane because you have to be perfect with your coordination between first and second car. The other thing about it is that it's so easy to overheat these cars, and you have to back off as the second car to get the air to the engine, and you won't be able to go forward if you're not lined up aerodynamically, so it's really difficult to make that line go.
Well, I think the third reason it's hard to lead up top and to do that up top as well is you don't have that guide marker, right? A lot of drivers will tell you they love to be on the inside lane because you have that double yellow lane marker. It's sort of a guide, if you will, right? You know where to put the tires. You have an easy marker to follow. When you're up top, I mean, I guess you have that black seam, but a lot of drivers say that black seam right there is too high on the track. So you don't really have that same guide marker on the top. So, and I think the fourth reason why we're going to pile on here, Morgan, is people are not patient in iRacing. I'm looking up top now. That was a full lane, but it started to not move, and people quickly abandon it rather than try and make it work.
Yeah, definitely difficult to get people to go with you unless you have teammates in the server. They will typically bail on you at the first opportunity. I know I certainly have in my plate racing experience, and it served me well knowing where to be at the right time, not necessarily being loyal to any particular driver or team.
Yeah, it's very, very quick to want to snap down here and see if you can find a run, but a couple of drivers up top. That's the 16 car up top. They're going to try and make that run work, and they have one pusher on back there trying. That's Matthew Simple in the 16 up there, and I think it's 81 Dustin Ping right behind him. Those two are committed. Now we get a bit more help, and once you get help in that top lane, the fun thing about it is it doesn't feel like it takes long to sort of glide your way back to the forward and back to the front here.
Yeah, once you get forward momentum, it usually goes pretty quickly. The only issue that they're going to have is that the bottom lane is fairly separated, and usually when the inside line is compact together, there's checkups that happen, and that allows the outside line to really get rolling. We don't really have that. We got pretty big gaps between the 98, the 89, the 07, etc., as you see on your screen here. That will make it harder for the outside lane to really get going because the inside line doesn't have to lift at all.
Correct. Yep, I would agree with that here. And now there's 5 cars up top. Now that lane should start moving. Now that momentum's going to gather. Now the draft will start working, and we'll quickly see that front car glide their way or move their way back up front here. And this is a look from the bottom lane. This is from one of the cars in the bottom of this line here. And Morgan, I'm curious. I said 40 laps. I thought everyone was going on fuel. But we're seeing these big gaps in line. Do you think people are just trying to be patient and not be involved in the wreck early? Or do you think people are fuel saving?
A bit of both. I would say we're probably tight on fuel. I think we could make it, but I don't think it's as comfortable as we maybe assumed to start the show. Maybe 42, 43 laps on fuel, if my memory serves correctly. And you're totally right. Don't wreck the car. It's lap 9. We got a lot of time left here to get after it. Let's just make sure that we can make it to the end on fuel, or make it to the end on fuel and make it to the end of the race with the car in one piece before we start really mixing it up with each other.
Yeah, I would agree with that. By the way, that's Matthew Simple. He was leading. He's now third in line on top. 2 more cars have pulled up top here and are trying to help lead that front group on around. And the challenge you have here in these duels, Morgan, it's only half a field. There's only 16 cars here. We're anticipating in the realm of 40 for the Cyber 500 on Sunday. So the runs here are not going to be as big. There's not as many cars to move around and help you and break a draft or help build a draft. So this is sort of a dry run, if you will, for the 500. But the mechanics will be a little different on Sunday.
Yeah, that's true. And who that really helps are the drivers up front, because they know that the runs coming on the second lane aren't going to be massive. You don't have to, pull out all the stops making these blocks in this race. Who it hurts are the drivers in the back who try to make it up to the front. It takes longer to get everything wound up. As we see here, the top side kind of hung out here, about 4 cars back. They cannot seem to get around the 98 here, and that will just probably make them all bail to the bottom again and rebuild it and try again.
Working lap 11, already over 25% of the way done with this first heat here. Remember, again, this determines the inside lane for the Cyber 500 on Sunday. So we got 5, maybe 6 cars up top. They're going to try and ride around here, but the other thing to keep in mind, Morgan, I call these races live science experiments. And what I mean by that is everything you do tonight will affect someone's possible perception of you when it comes to racing either tonight or on Sunday. Who do you push? Who do you not push? Do you give bad pushes? Do you get up front and leave someone out to dry? These are all things that you can do tonight to help either forge a friendship or create a heated rivalry for Sunday.
And that's one of the things that I don't think gets talked about enough is you're auditioning right now to help somebody or get yourself helped on Sunday. That's what you're doing here, is you're making sure people know that, oh, this insert car number here car can do what I need them to do. They can push, they can be pushed, they can hold a line, all this stuff. But if you can't, you'll quickly get that X beside your name in somebody's book and they will not work with you on Sunday.
Yeah, that will be a bad time if that does happen. And again, it's not even about if you're willing to help, it's what kind of help do you give, right? Not everyone's a great pusher.
Right.
And not everyone is a great pushee. Those are two separate skills that not everyone possesses. And I would say typically, Morgan, people are good at one or the other, typically. It's hard to find someone who's a good pusher and a good pushee. And so if you get up here at the front of the pack and you're not comfortable getting pushed, you'll slow down your lane. But vice versa, if you're giving bad pushes, you're going to create some chaos.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a leader in the lane versus a pusher, though I really prefer to be the third car in line, staying right close, just like we're seeing here, right close to the back bumper without necessarily touching it. That's where I think I excel the most. But you're right, I do not love being the pusher because I know that I'm one bad move away from sending that car careening either left or right.
See, I hate being pushed. I don't want to put my fate in someone else's hands of a bad bump ending my race. I hate it. It skews me out. I don't want to be pushed until like 2 to go when I don't have a choice and I have to go. But right now, I'd rather be second or third in lane. I want to push someone else. I know I can do it. I know I can get the back to the middle of that car. I hate being pushed.
Well, maybe we'll have to link up on a super speedway sometime and we'll make it work. But we see the whole pack here, everyone except for 00. Oh, he is in here. Brad Holmes is in this group. He's got collected. He is now 1 lap behind. They're in the 15th spot.
By the way, of note, Tanner Marr did not take the green flag in this session. So Tanner will finish P16. He's currently 14 laps down, which is where we are now, technically 15 laps in. So maybe Tanner took 1 lap because he's only shown 14 laps down in scoring. But regardless, he's going to finish last here. And the good news, coming back to your topic of Brad Holmes, he has the lucky dog. So if some kind of calamity does happen here and he stays out of it, he will get his lap back.
And on a less important note, just ripped off the fastest lap of the day, did Brad Holmes. So clearly speed in the 00.
All right, here we are, almost rapidly approaching halfway through this first duel. And Morgan, I will get your impression here. You and I have both done our shares of 500s or week-long events, or whether it be through different leagues or special events. Would you rather be in Duel 1 or Duel 2?
Good question. Probably Duel 1, simply that I can get it out of the way and go do something else with my evening. Although I'm just happy to be on the racetrack. If I was forced to be in Duel 2, again, happy to be on the racetrack. At least I get to watch and see kind of what it looks like out there and go from there. But yeah, I'm just happy to be out there regardless of which duel I'm in. Yourself?
I'm a Duel 1 person. To me, the more racing happens, you kind of build a little bit of butterflies and anxiety, and it almost feels like you think you know how the race is going to go because you've watched Duel 1 and either it was clean or it wasn't, and you kind of build all these mental anticipations. And yeah, I don't know. I want to go first and have it done with. I'm that kind of person, just rip the Band-Aid off and be done. I think you and I both tried to make our way into the PGR 500 a couple weeks ago. After watching like the first night of heats, I was like, man, I wish I would have been first. Like, let me go and get this over with. The anxiety built as my teammates kept being successful is now it's being a success. We see a move to the bottom here. New leader on the bottom lane.
Yeah, I envy all those drivers who got an opportunity to participate in any of the 500s that happened in the last few weeks, whether it was for PGR, or MRL, or Mystic, or anyone. Didn't get a chance to. Was up in the broadcast booth for a lot of that week, but looked like fun here in Daytona.
That's Dustin Ping, by the way, in the 81. He moved to the bottom, and he is now your new leader. First time tonight for Dustin leading a lap here. So now working at another lap at Daytona. It's got Mike Stuyvesant behind him, and then Chris Rose. And, you know, we talked about this new form of drafting with the way these cars are remodeled and how you kind of have to push and push the pusher. But, I mean, we're halfway through with this first heat, and realistically, like, I don't see a lot of it.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, I think, to kind of shake that off and get out of the habit of, oh, I'm pushing somebody, don't push me. Because a lot of drivers will scream on the radio, hey, don't push the pusher. But that's the way you have to be fast now. I think it's going to take some time for drivers to really navigate that, really understand that it's okay to do that because the cars are stable enough to do that. Now, like we mentioned earlier, you still need to be, you know, hold the wheel straight, be able to take a push while pushing at the same time, knock it off center. All that's still important, but the cars at least are a little bit more stable to do that.
Yeah, cars are a lot more stable than it feels like so far with this update. But look again, that bottom lane now for the second time has kind of fallen apart. There's finally Simple has got himself into the line, so leaving just 3 cars to the top lane. Almost halfway through this race, happy along for the ride, and you see up top just a couple cars left here. And you know, a lot of the conversations we're going to have tonight, Morgan, is about preferences. We talked about, you know, preference of push versus pushing. We talked about a lot of stuff, but this whole lane thing, a top lane, bottom lane, this is another preference at Daytona. Some people love to be on the bottom. They love to have that sort of mental effect of thinking, hey, if it happens, if the wreck happens, I can move to the grass or move to the infield and avoid the wreck, so I'm moving the bottom. Some people want to be up top because you carry more, you know, a little bit more speed out of the corners. It's another game of preferences.
Yeah, what do you have for preference for top lane, bottom lane?
I'm a bottom lane guy. I want to be able, I want to like to think, possibly falsely, that I can control my destiny by avoiding the wreck. I also love having that yellow line as my guide. A lot of times the way you're successful in the draft, if you watch that bottom lane, you follow it, don't follow the car in front of you. This is the big mistake in drafting. Don't follow the car in front of you. You'll create a really awful serpentine, like an Indy 500 style race if you do that. Follow that bottom lane and the draft will work itself out.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on following that yellow line. It makes things a lot easier than trying to chase the rear bumper of the driver in front of you. As far as my preference for which lane I want, I think you saw it right here on Green Flag TV in the Casual Glass series a few weeks ago. I don't really care. As long as I'm going forward, I'll take the top, I'll take the bottom. I spent a lot of time in that race on the top side because I had good pushers. If it was a bit more chaotic race, very much the opposite of this one, I would probably want to be on the bottom so that, like you said, if there's a crash, you can dive it down below the line, have a better shot at avoiding it. If it's a race like this one where it's, you know, been green so far, I wouldn't really mind being on the top or the bottom so long as I continually move forward or hold my position.
Yep, that is a big key here. And that's what those guys up top are trying to do now. They're trying to build that momentum. Now 4 cars up top, and they'll see if they can build now 5 cars up top to build that momentum here. Riding aboard with the Cheetos car, that one of Gibson. And this is sort of that view right now that's a little difficult as a driver right here. Morgan, at this point, you're kind of stuck in this spot. I mean, he has a bit of a gap ahead of him, but you know, you can't go up, you can't go down technically to the out of bounds lane, you can't go backwards, there's a car behind him. At this point, you're just kind of, I guess, there for the ride.
Unlike this 28 of Heinzman, who now has clear grass in front of him, so to speak. Look at the wide open pastures here on the top side, able to get this thing wound up, and we're slowly but surely moving forward towards the front of this pack.
And what the best news for Heinzman could be for one of those cars in the bottom to slowly kind of drift up out of accident and get back down. That'll give that little bit of draft he needs to help pull him further and further up ahead. But something I noticed, though, those lines on the telemetry there, those are estimates provided to us. Those are not guaranteed to be accurate. But Heinzman was not, do you notice he was playing with the throttle? That's weird to me if that's true, that you would be leading a pack at Daytona and playing with the throttle, but that also might be why they're not moving forward.
Well, I think how that's working, let's bring it up again on your screen just to show everyone. I think it's speed-based, right? Is like the throttle.
Right. Yeah, it's an estimate, yeah.
So if you're increasing speed, theoretically, you would be in the throttle. If you're decreasing speed, theoretically, you'd be out of the throttle. I think that's the estimate that we're seeing. I highly doubt that
Yeah,
he
that's
is.
what I was confused too. Right.
Yeah, we got this thing wound all the way up here. You can hear it on the show here. You can also see it in the RPMs tacked at whatever that number is.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think we are wide open here on the top side.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was really confused for a second. I was like, "There's no way that's real. Like, there's no way if that's happening, then I need to just throw out the playbook and start over. If that's what's going on
Flashback from Sunday in the actual Cup race when they were 3 wide at 50% throttle saving fuel. We're not going to see that here tonight.
Yeah, we covered a show here. No, I'm sorry, I covered the top split Daytona 500 Friday night with Arjuna Kinkapati over on the official Irishman channel, and they needed to go 47 laps to the end. A normal lap time, in fact, what we're running tonight for the leaders, a 47.1. At one point, Morgan over in top split on Friday, they were running 51-second lap times, help save enough fuel to make it to the end. They were off 4 seconds off the pace to save gas. It was a parade, basically.
Yeah, life imitates art. We saw that on Sunday.
Yeah.
And who would have thought, eh?
Yeah, it was a wild ride indeed. But also it's a wild ride for Dustin Ping. He's up here by the Ari Heinzman is still up front, by the way. The 81 and the 28 controlling the lanes here at Daytona. Happy along for the ride. Now we're well more than halfway through this race. And right now, I mean, this again is for the inside lane of Daytona. Everyone's going to make it. So at some point here, someone's going to get a little impatient. Someone's going to want to advance their position. Someone's going to try something here. If there's no threat of going home, before this race is over, we'll be 3 wide, I guarantee it.
We just about saw it there. I believe it was Lee Campbell poked his nose to the outside of Heinzman, trying to get a little bit of a run there. Didn't materialize, but I think we'll see that move, especially if the middle lane is going to run right there below that seam. There's a lot of real estate out above that seam where you could force it 3 wide, make some moves happen.
Yeah, you're right. When we saw that move happen from Campbell, I thought maybe they were going to put Heinzman in the middle. Yeah, in the sucker hole, but Heinzman moved down. But I thought they were about to put Heinzman in the middle. But here we go around the corners again here. And now that top lane has a couple gaps. You need to close those up here.
Yeah, 60's going to fall back ever so slightly to Kimmel. Now we go forward again.
Go forward again. See the Coca-Cola sponsorship on the front. We saw the Black Rifle Coffee Club on the back of that car. So fully sponsored with your favorite beverage of choice. Second lane on the top side here. Coming in here to lap 27, about to be in lap 28. 13 laps to go in heat number 1.
Ping trying his move for the win. That would not have won him the race. Pulled out a line to see if he had the momentum. Obviously didn't work, but now you know that you need a little bit more of a run than that, or else you are not going to win duel number 1.
Yeah, definitely not going to win. In fact, now he's going to fall backwards here. In fact, he's going to fall back to that top lane and hope they'll pick him up a little bit of a bump right there at a ping from the back end, and hopefully he can start to alleviate some of the pains it is from falling backwards here. So in this moment, Morgan, I say as a driver, I think these are the kind of races that are the most difficult in a weird way because, here we are 75% done almost. It's been calm. It's been quiet. It almost gives you that false sense of security that things are okay. You kind of let your guard down. You kind of start to let that fear subside inside your stomach. You have it every Daytona race. And when you stop fearing the track, that's when the track will bite you.
Yeah, this is never a track that I feared per se. I definitely feared the driver sharing it with me.
Right.
That's where most of my fear came from. And on that same token, I mean, you talk about it being a bit of a different race because of the smaller field, because of, the shorter distance. I always found these races were more aggressive because you could go from the back to the front fairly quickly. You only have to pass 15 cars to get there if you were last, like Brad Holmes, for example, obviously being a lap down makes it more difficult, all that. But you've only got, a dozen or so cars to pass. So you can make a couple moves and get back up there. So drivers will typically really be aggressive moving forward, but easy and cautious to fall back.
And it's also harder here because it's only 40 laps. And I say only 40, that's a lot for Daytona. But remember, we're cranking out a green flag race here. We're now 3/4 of the way through a race here. And it takes time in this small 15, 16 car field to build this momentum. So you have to be aggressive. Sunday when we go 200 laps, you have time to make decisions. You have time to fall back. You have lots to rely on. But right now, you need to get moving right now. If you think you're going to make a race-winning move from, I'd say, from P10 on back, you need to start planning out right now at the beginning of lap 31.
Yeah, because you don't want to just be getting to the front at the white flag. You want to already be established at the front with the ability to make any sub moves that you need to do, any kind of, you know, side drafting or maybe a late move to the bottom or top or whatever the case is. You want to be able to do that once you're already established at the front. You don't want to be trying to chase your way up there at this point in time and not get there in time. As we have a third lane developing here. Sound the alarm. We're about to go 3 wide. We are 3 wide.
It is. I told you what happened. We got one car up top all by themselves. And do they get any help? Looks like there might be a help from the one. Maybe not. He's thinking about it. Just still one car up top, and that one car is going to fall backwards really quickly here, Morgan. No drafting help. In fact, now they're almost banging the wall, killing speed, and they'll go from the front to the back. That is, I believe, Lee Campbell falling back on the top side there.
Well, they tried, and it was a good effort. Just they needed someone to go with them. The move was too aggressive for the point in time. Now, as we said, whole field's in front of you. You have to fight all the way back up there to get up to the front.
But now if you're Lee Campbell, maybe you marked a couple things off your list. Now you know who will or won't go with you. Now you know maybe you need more, maybe you need to communicate better, who knows. But you tried something. I like trying something again. There's no, I mean, what he lost here was maybe some starting spots for the 500 on Sunday.
Yeah, all in all, the reward was certainly worth the risk. Because if somebody does go with you and you're able to make it to the front and win the race, you look like a genius. You're going to finish potentially in the teens versus finishing third. Yeah, you're going to drop back, you know, a dozen rows at the start of the race. You still get to run the race on Sunday, and you learn something, what to do or what not to do for that show.
So lots happening here. Now working lap 33 down to the single digits of laps to go as of this moment. And they're side by side. All that talk about a line being behind, that's dead. It's Cody Gibson up top. It's Jarrett Camille on the bottom. They are racing almost side by side here. Then it's Ping, Raymond, Heinzman, Simple through your top 6. So these names have been up and down the field all night. And by the way, Jason Raymond up in P3, Morgan, is up 10 spots on the night.
Definitely some drivers moving around. We've seen drivers go from the back to the front to the back and got all over the place in this one. Hard to really pick a biggest mover who is going to be at the end of the race because it's moving around so much every single lap.
Yeah, that's part of what we love about this track is any given lap, you could watch the field from lap to lap, and no one's ever in the same spot. It feels like everyone's kind of moved around, and the ups and the downs are very different. Speaking of ups and downs, the downside is winning. That is 3 cars clear. Pink thought about moving up in front of the one of Gibson. I thought he was going to do it, and then he sort of changed his mind last second.
There's a move for the lead. Actually, that would be sorry, in the lead right now. Of course, 0 is a lap down. Last car on the lead lap as it runs at the moment here. So that first car inside is not for position. That is not the leader of the inside lane in terms of positions. Throw a bit of a wrench into this thing.
There's a lot of a wrench into this thing, but now it's definitely be a lap down because now the front 2 of Camille and Heinzman have pulled down in front of that car, a lapped car. So for a moment, the 0-0 was technically back on the lead lap. That's no longer the case here. Now working yet another lap, lap 35 at Daytona Green so far. So Morgan, we've seen some failed runs. We've seen some people think and kind of flirt with the idea of 3 wide. Do you think it officially happens before the end of this race?
I would say yes, considering the move we just saw from the one of Cody Gibson. He put a heck of a move on Heinzman. I think we're going to see a 3 wide move here come shortly, and it's going to be aggressive.
New fastest lap, by the way, for Lee Campbell. Remember, Campbell at one moment tried that 3 wide. He was to the back of the field, 5 laps ago. Now he is leading the top lane and now officially leading unofficially at Daytona.
So that just shows you. Only takes 4 laps to get from the back to the front in one of these duels. And we do have a car in the middle. It is Heinzman. Heinzman stuck in that silver car. Oh, we're dooring each other. I don't know if they know he's there.
Get close. They need to figure it out quickly or we're going to have a problem here. The 20 is going to hop up behind Heinzman and try and help push. And then that light baby blue, seafoam-ish color blue is going to follow in behind, making 3 cars in the middle here at Daytona. Now they're 3 wide.
Now we're wrecking.
The pace is picked up wrecking at Daytona, and caution is out. Well, that took a while, but you could, as a driver, Morgan, you and I know that. We have that Scooby sense, right?
Yeah,
that
we felt
moment
it.
you feel. I could feel it. It's like arthritis on a rainy day. You sort of feel it coming, don't you?
Absolutely. You knew that was going to happen. Let's see how it happened here.
So here's a wrinkle. Let's watch this replay first. That middle car, I think, just got bobbled around, and I think he went up top and then back down as well.
Yeah, 07 into the side of the 89 is what triggered that one, and of course those 2 cars pushed each other down into turn number 1, but that definitely looks like that is what caused this one. See it from high above here.
Watch the middle. They're going to keep forming and moving around, and here comes the middle. We saw this coming. That's ping up ahead in that red car, and that purple, pink and black that hit the top car, bounced down, and a game of pinball is on.
I think just got spooked by Gibson on the bottom, moved up a little bit, and I think that spooked the 07, made him go a little bit too high, got into the 89, of course.
So wrinkle in this I was going to talk about before the replays. If you use your fast repair, which everyone has one fast repair in this race, if you use your fast repair, you go to the end of the longest line Sunday for the 500.
Well, I think for the 89, it's probably not much going to matter. That tire's not supposed to face that direction, so I don't think it's going to have much of a difference here.
It'll buff out.
Well, maybe. The 07 is still on the racetrack. That car can run still. I wouldn't be too worried if I was the 07. But yeah, Philip Van Vliet, he's going to need definitely some service done on that 89 because, yeah, that right front's not supposed to go that way. Now we're straight because we use the fast repair, I think.
It's an interesting choice to use it knowing what's at stake. With only a few laps left here, I'm not sure if I would, unless I got told by iRacing I had to use it.
Yeah, he has a meatball flag. He definitely has to use it.
Had to use it. Okay, I might have still solved. They could have. I might have risked it. I might have seen if iRacing could have fixed that before I. But there's no chance to go back on that. That's the downside to that.
Right.
If you park in your stall with the fast repair turned off and it's too much, it's too much. You can't say, hey, wait a minute.
Right.
I have this. So. All right, well, I'm watching to see what's going to happen here with the pace car and the laps and where we are on track here. Barney's still waving that white, that's even that yellow flag. Very vigorously, but I add. Barney must have some kind of prosthetic rotator cuff or something.
Would have to. Bionic arm, because he definitely throws that flag around. There's no lack of conviction in the arm movements. Absolutely.
Well, for a clean race as it was, Morgan, we're now into green, white, checker 1 of 3. Welcome into Cyber overtime for the first time this week. And so 3 overtime attempts to get it right.
How many do we use? What do you think?
Oh, boy. It's so hard to say. It's been so respectful and so kind. I think, honestly, with the fear of the fast repair rule of biting you, I'm going to go for 1. I think drivers are going to treat it. Remember, we'll have to get the white flag, and then we're all bets are off. I'll say 1. I'll be optimistic.
Gotcha. I also agree with 1. Although I don't think the fast repair rule is as important as we're making it out to be. And the reason is this. If you have to use a fast repair, which I don't actually think that the 89 did, he's still on pit road, I would think that you're probably already damaged enough that you're not going to get a great finish out of the race. So it's really like you're going to start at the back because your car's wrecked, or you're going to start at the back because you fast repair. And maybe you did finish 3rd in the race, you get a little extra experience trying to move around in these final laps, but you kind of you have the same decision, really.
Or you limp around a hurt race car and everyone rucks around you in white flag, and somehow you're 3rd in line Sunday. That's the flip side.
That's true. Right? That is true. That's valid. Although the car can't be terribly destroyed for that to happen. That's the only
right.
concern.
Yes, correct. Yep.
Like for Chris Rose, as we said, his car looks fairly good versus obviously the 89, who is just absolutely destroyed.
Correct. It's still sitting there, by the way. So four of the cars were on pit road. Greg Mitchell, Chris Rose, Brad Holmes, and Jarrett Camille. So I don't know if they use their fast cars. We'll wait and find out post-race. But, yeah, I mean, there's two sides to that coin, right? I agree with what you're saying, that maybe you have to use it and it doesn't hurt. But if I could limp a hurt race car,
right?
I don't know. Oh, so here we are, 2 to go. Lee Campbell and Amanda Sherman's up front, by the way. Amanda's not someone we talked about most of the night. Amanda's husband, Corey, will be in the next split we'll cover here in a few minutes on Green Flag TV. And this is a controversial take, I think. I don't want to be there right now. I want to be probably Dustin Ping or Cody Gibson. I want to be able to control when I make the move and not be worried about what moves I have to block with 2 to go.
I would be fine with being the 88 at the moment because you're the control car on the bottom. I do not want to be Lee Campbell on the outside because I have to time the launch properly, which is probably going to be at the end of the restart zone, so it's not going to be that difficult to time.
Correct.
But I would prefer to be on the inside lane on this restart simply because it gets going faster because you have less distance to go around. You have a better shot at being able to defend yourself off of turn 2 than you would on the high side. And then you parlay that into hopefully being single file at the white flag. Now you can entirely control your own destiny so long as you keep the gap between you and the driver behind you as small as you can.
Well, also, I think the other part to that as well is that yellow line becomes your friend at a certain point.
It does.
Right? I mean, you only have to block one side at this point. No one's gonna be allowed to go down below yellow and pass you. So you're not worried about the inside. You're only worried about who's on the outside. You can kind of drift up a little bit if you need to and make some moves. So I agree. That bottom lane is probably my preferred lane. Amanda Sherman's going to lead it for the first time today. Lights on the iRacing pace car are out. It is time to settle this. Welcome into Cyber Overtime on Green Flag TV. We come around, and there's Barney. He has the green flag. He will wave it, and we will start overtime. Well, that bottom lane is a little bit longer because the cars had spent some additional time on pit road, but that launch up top is better than you or I expected. Look at that. Lee Campbell got an amazing start up top.
So did Gibson. If I was them, I'd drop down quickly here to cover the bottom lane off. They choose not to. Outside lane continues to roll.
They're trying to bring all 3 cars, I think, and get all 3 in the line down at the bottom. But getting 3 cars clear is harder than it sounds at Daytona. 1.5 laps to go. They got 4 almost. You're right. Look at that. A beautiful move here as the 81 is pushing the heck out of the 88. Gibson now moves down. He wants to lead. That'll bring Sherman back in the picture out of 4. Once we get the white flag, all bets are off. No cautions if we get there.
This is going to be a tough one for the bottom lane to make up. 60 has the run on the high side. White flag is out. We got one more time around.
One more time around. No matter what happens, the race control will let us race it around. Who's it going to? Oh, there's the wreck. It's from Sherman on back. That's probably 3rd on back in the wreck. It is 3 cars. It is Campbell. It is Gibson. It is Heisman. Who wins? Heisman pulls back in lane here. Him and Gibson are backed it up here. They're going to make the run.
Yes, they are. Here goes the move to the outside for the 1. He got to the outside. Where does the 28 go? Does it go with the car on the inside? Yes, he will. Not now.
Look at Jason Raymond. Jason Raymond's in the picture.
Where'd the 49 come from?
Where did he come from? He's going to try and make the move up the middle. 2 cars by themselves. Pushes Heisman on through. Does Raymond make the move out of 4? Here it is. Last bit of the heat. Number 1. Heisman is winning. Does Raymond make the move? He does not. And Heisman wins heat number 1.
Now, where did the 49 come from? Jason Raymond came out of nowhere. Oh, my goodness.
He must either just avoided the wreck or drove around the wreck because I did not see him in my picture when watching that wreck.
Great job to Heisman being able to get that one done. We'll start way up front. The big show on Sunday.
Up front, yep. Great job as they qualified 16th for this heat race. Back of the field. It's almost literally, I think it is literally, last to first challenge for Heisman.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened on this caution. Or on the, not caution, on the accident. Obviously, it was not a caution.
Watch it here at the bottom. It's going to be that black and yellow car of Sherman. I think this is the middle car. I think that middle car.
Just a case of the 81 being uber aggressive. Yep. 20 came down a little bit. They sandwiched together, and of course, all the cars behind him were involved. Let's check out what happened here to the 49. Where was he in that accident? I think that's
good question. This is
right behind the 81.
Right,
Isn't that something?
it is right here. This black and green car on the bottom of your screen is what we're looking at. And here comes the wreck in just a minute. This Heinzman has to dip below the line here. There's no way you avoid that. But he just
got door contact too.
Boy, that's beautiful. Just stuck in it. And realistically, because of the Heinzman pulling down right there, that allowed the 49 back in the draft. And then the 49 was patient and just sort of rode the draft in. And I'm a little surprised. We'll see if we can get a word in with Raymond, maybe or not. I don't know. I'm surprised he didn't make a move out of 4 here.
Yeah, might not have had momentum to be able to do it. But yeah, he went through, picked the right lane to get to second. And then from here, I don't think there was enough momentum ever to make that move happen.
Right.
Yeah, just they're even the whole way across. But that's how it finishes here in duel number 1.
That is a great finish. And speaking of the finish at duel number 1, let's talk to the person who finished number 1 in duel number 1. Welcome in Ari Heinzman. Ari, you went from last to first in this duel. Congrats on your Heat 1 win.
Thank you very much, man. It's so hard to win these races out here on these plate tracks, and I've been around Cyber for a while now, and I've gotten wins just about everywhere else, but there's just something about these tracks that prove really difficult. So it's really cool to be able to do that, and to do it with a pretty cool 3-wide move on the last lap is pretty fun.
Well, you brought the Bargs root beer machine up to the front here, so walk us through the last lap. You guys are side by side. That wreck happens and sort of clears out behind you and got quiet. What was going through your mind?
Well, I tell you what, I knew the wreck was going to happen on the white flag. It usually does, and it was just a matter of hoping that I got through it, and it happened just behind me. So I knew at that point, I was on the high line. I didn't have help anymore. My best play was to duck back in, get some draft, and then go from there. When I saw that there wasn't really help behind, I figured whenever Gibson made his move on Campbell, I would just go wherever those two weren't, and we'd have a 3-wide drag race. I know I'm good buddies with Matt Semple, and under yellow, I had hit him up and just sent him a little message that said shake and bake. So he had my back on that 3-wide. He followed me up through there. That was really cool to see. And yeah, just shout out to Matt for that push. That's awesome. He's just coming off his first championship here in Cyber. So that's pretty cool. And to go out here and get a dual win. I don't get to race too often anymore these days, so it's pretty fun.
We're going to see up towards the front for the Cyber 500 on Sunday. Anyone you want to shout out to or say hello to?
Yeah, shout out to the 2 teammates I had in this race, Amanda Sherman and Philip Van Vliet. Philip unfortunately got caught up in that second last wreck, and Amanda on that last lap there, but both of them had good showings out here tonight. And Matt, of course, for that push there. Shout out to all the drivers here in Duel 1. That was a really fun battle, and excited to see what Duel 2 puts on.
All right, Ari, well, congrats on the win, and we will see you on Sunday.
Thank you.
All right, that is Ari Heinzman. Well, Morgan, that's going to wrap up Heat number 1. We're going to, I believe, step away. I'll let you kind of lead out to that. I think we're going to take a second, get loaded in, and be back soon.
Absolutely. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.
And I'm back. And I'm back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, heat number 1 is in the books, and now we're back for heat number 2. It's the duels here on Green Flag TV, and the duels for the Cyber 500. While they're halfway complete, 1 down, 1 to go, as we set the running order for the 6th annual Cyber 500. Welcome in back to Green Flag TV. I am Derek Watson, sitting next to Morgan Cook. Morgan is both color commentating and pushing the buttons, making me look and sound good down in that production truck. Well, Morgan, for the most part, a very clean heat number 1, and you see lots going on, as there's also lots going on the channel this week. Let's cover that real quick here. So tonight, in fact, over on Green Flag TV, Nolan Rimple and Ron Mons over at Pocono for the On My Screen Racing League. Tomorrow night, I'll be back with someone from the Echo Park Speedway for Premier Sim Racing in their truck series. Meanwhile, the Collegiate iRacing League has their sports car series over at Fuji International Speedway. And then the Beer League has at the Red Bull Ring tomorrow night. It's a triple header on Green Flag TV. Thursday night, just 2 races, I believe. It's the Caswell Glass Company Series. The O'Reilly cars go to Coda
I'll be in
Circuit
there.
of the Americas. You'll be there, Morgan. And then the Formula cars for Cleveland iRacing League go to the Indianapolis Road Course. And then we'll also have another triple header on Thursday as the Speed Cup Series goes to Echo Park Speedway. That's just some of the races. If you want to find out if we can help you, your league, your special event, what have you, head over to www.greenflagtv.com and you can get more information. Well, Morgan, a very clean Heat 1. Do you think in some way that's in the head of these drivers? Does it build anticipation? Does it build sort of a, you know, you feel like now you have to be that clean to kind of hold up the reputation? What does it do for these drivers?
I would just say that it's, you know that it's possible to be that clean. So you know that there's no real reason to push this car a lot to make anything crazy happen. You can just go out there and race normally knowing that things are probably going to work out for you. But let's see where everyone starts here today.
Let's do that. Let's take a look at tonight's starting grid for heat number 2 here at Daytona. Up on the front is Gary Bowman, and that very bright purple and pink number 8 car with the Stream Deck logo on the side. Next to the Jurgens, number 92 for Edward Jurgen. Back in P3, you'll find W. Eric Anderson in the 43. The old Petty look is next to the 42 for Leroy Kolbentz. Tom Richter, league admin, is up in the Bucky's car in the 34. He's next to the 74. James Kinder back in P6. P7, you'll find David Gainforth in the 15 there with a very bright pink helmet. Next to Andy Cork back in P8. And then P9 on the board, Steven Music is the 09 car and a Traveler car next to that very dark colored 69 car of Doug Lockrow.
Starting in 11th this evening, Jackie Brannon in the 65. Paxton Frith will start 12th in the 21. Starting the 13th spot, Larry Bell from Canada. Love to see that. In the 05, Corey Sherman starts in the 14th position in that very bright number 3. 15th to be Nathan Dufton in the 47. Logan Spencer will start in 16th in the 19 car. Final car on the grid will belong to Jared Anderson in that very colorful eBay number 5. I will
1 heat in the books. Remind everyone who's just watching, even if you're tuning in now, if you got a friend or a relative or what have you in the race, 40 times around the circuit. 40 laps at Daytona is the advertised distance. 3 attempts at overtime if we need it. We needed 1 in the first heat. It's Gary Bowman. It's Edward Jurgen. They'll wait for the green flag, but first they'll wait for the pace car to make the left-hand turn. That's done. We'll approach there the blue restart zone from Kroger, and we'll wait for the green flag as it's out at Daytona. Top lane quickly had some gaps in it up top here as we're now through turns 1 and 2 at Daytona, up out of the corner, and look at that bottom lane, has a momentum. That's Bowman and Anderson on the bottom lane leading this group on around as Jurgen tries to find some momentum on the top lane.
We saw someone get in the wall a little bit there to start that one off. They have lost the draft. That is Jared Anderson. And, sorry, it's not Jared Anderson, somebody else.
That's Doug Lockrow, I believe, back there.
You're right,
Doug Lockrow in the 69, that very dark colored car we mentioned in the paint schemes there. In the wall, and now he'll need that caution. He'll end up like the car in the first heat, being a lap down if things don't settle themselves out here.
Now you talked about earlier, will Duel 2 be the same as Duel 1, or does it put any pressure on the drivers? Typically, the duels have been opposites throughout NASCAR history.
Yep.
Duel 1,
this is
clean and green. Duel 2, maybe not so much, and vice versa. We saw a very clean Duel 1. What happens here in this second 40-lap dash?
Well, kind of it already is vice versa, because look at this. Remember, Duel 1, we rode side by side for most of the duel. Here, we kind of got a parade lap. It's, I mean, what, probably 12, 13 cars deep of single file. Now, in fact, the whole lane here is going to be single file if, in fact, Andy Cork gets in line. I'm have James Kinder, by the way, in line right here. This is the one big parade lap here. Now they're just going to ride here. I'm sure at some point this will break apart. But for the moment, where we are. Fastest lap, by the way, for Logan Spencer. And by the way, I don't want to disrespect this when I say this, Morgan. Not a big deal to have the fastest lap at Daytona. That typically goes to someone stuck in the middle of the draft who the draft is kind of carrying them along. It's still a cool award, and in some leagues it still hands out bonus points, but it's not the same as setting it on a 1.5 miles.
No, you're certainly right. Where the car handling matters, where the driver putting the car in a certain spot matters. Here, it's really just more about
how deep in the draft are you?
Exactly. How far can you take that run that you got? Are you able to go with it wherever you want to go, or do you hit a wall of air? Is there another car in front you have to lift for? That's really what determines the fastest lap in most of these situations.
Yeah, it turns it pretty quickly. So you'll see it bounce around. In fact, now it's back to James Kinder, who's pretty far.
Oh, we're wrecking.
Oh, we're wrecking. This is going to be different than Heat 1 because the caution is out on lap 4. Boy, oh boy, 2, if not 3 cars involved in this wreck. The eBay cars back there. And there's the 47 involved. That's Nathan Dufton. Let's see what
Where
happens
did
here.
this start?
Watch the top lane. Watch that bright
there
green
it is.
car.
Yes,
Oh, it's up ahead.
The 21 went up the track a little bit. 92 didn't expect it. Paxton.
Overall,
oh, let's go back
no
to
big
that.
damage.
I don't think anyone really got a lot of damage out of that, just some track position loss. Let's go back here, look at Paxton Frith.
Watch this again here. So this is about where the wreck's going to happen right here. Focus on the white car towards the middle of your screen and that green car. They're going to come together right about some dirty air, and to put it nicely. And then from there, it's just like no one kind of either had time or a full desire to check up, I think. And yeah.
As you said, though, minimal damage. I don't really see any scrapes or dents on any of these cars. So all in all, I think it worked out about as well as you could hope for a crash at Daytona.
Maybe, and this is what I talk about sometimes, Morgan. There's 2 types of damage that happens here at Daytona. There's the physical damage to the car, that's obvious.
Right.
But there's the mental frustration, the mental damage that happens where you now you have to get out of your head. Man, that was stupid. How can they do that? What were they thinking? What was I thinking? You let all those thoughts fester inside your head, and it'll mess with you if you don't fix that. If you don't say, okay, that happened. Let's move on. If you let those things fester forever, it'll affect how you race the rest of the race.
This is where I find it helpful to have someone in the voice chat with me that I can yell at. You know, they can help me
Or
keep.
can tell you to shut up.
Well, either way, they both work. They both work.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, definitely having somebody around helps, or just being in a voice chat by yourself and just airing your frustrations to no one usually will help you simmer down quite a bit, because you know these things happen. Everyone's doing their best, and sometimes their best isn't just quite good enough.
That's why we call them accidents and not on purposes.
That's right. That's right. Although sometimes they are. That one wasn't, obviously.
That's true. Yeah. There's a bad one earlier. If you saw Green Flag TV today, there's a really bad GT3 on GT3 crime that happened during the Aspire Racing League today. That that was it wasn't even ARCA brakes. It was more like, I guess, ARCA throttle. I don't know how to describe that to you.
Well,
it was bad.
These things
that GT3 went flipping like 7 times after it got ARCA throttled. It was really bad.
These things happen sometimes. You get put in a bad spot, and you end up end over end. That's not the way that you want it to be, but some people take this a little more serious than others at times.
That's true. That's true. But you did bring up a point about how drivers handle either this caution, but there's a lot of cars on pit road. I do want to bring that up here. Half the field pitted on lap 6. Stefan Music on back, or that's from probably P8, sorry, on back. Stefan Music on back. So Music, Brennan, Cork, Anderson, Kolbens, Kinder, Lockrow, for Jurgen. Jurgen gave up the spot there, by the way. And then Dufton and Logan Spencer. So about half the field pitted here. So I didn't think there were that many cars involved in that incident.
Yeah, a lot of them for fuel only.
Are you prepping for green white checker?
That's possible here. That's what the front three did. Music, Brandon, and Cork all just took fuel only. Everyone on back, from Anderson the rest of the way through, all took either 4 tires or varying levels of damage repair.
Right. Yep. So maybe just prepping for that overtime if it does happen. I was going to say, though, the topic you brought up I do like is, how do drivers handle racing at Daytona? It's a very unique thing, or just racing in general. Maybe like some people love to be in a Discord or a TeamSpeak or what have you with friends and kind of having banter and fun. Some people love the silence. Some people listen to music. There's very different ways everyone kind of copes with that moment there. It's interesting. I'm a music at super speedways. Otherwise, I prefer silence when I'm racing as much as possible. I don't want to have random banter. I find that when I start talking, my focus on driving goes down. But I don't know.
I've typically found that I like to be in a voice chat with people mostly for information purposes, not necessarily for banter per se. Like, I don't want to be talking about the weather unless it's in the session. I'd rather be talking about, what are you doing, at Daytona, for example. Where are you in the pack, and do we plan on working together? When is your pit lap? What's your strategy? That sort of thing. My own half would be more like, how are you entering turn 1? How's the car balance? All that stuff, so we can try and figure out what the optimal way to go is. But if it's not about the race itself, I definitely do prefer the silence.
Agreed. By the way, speaking of weather, look at this weather here. This is much nicer weather than heat number 1. And it's dark out. The lights are on. I can see the lights. It might make it better here. I mean, there's no more of that fog, that Rolex style fog, I think we're going to call it, after, from what happened to Rolex 24 this year. So a very much different race from heat number 1.
Yeah, nice to see that we can actually see. That's good.
We can use the blimp cam in this broadcast.
Sure can. In fact, let's do it right now.
Whoa. Oh, look at that. It is up there.
Wow. Anyway, not in the clouds this time.
Yeah, not in the clouds this time. All right, well, let's reset it here. It's going to be Bowman, Richter, Anderson, and Larry Bell, your top 4 here. So still a lot of racing to go. That Stream Deck car for Gary Bowman's going to be the leader when we go back, racing on lap 8 of 40. So, boy, I'm confused a little bit, because I thought by being kind of single file lane there for most of that run, I thought we were good to go for a while, but they proved me wrong.
Yeah, I think it's just a slight mistake from the car on the bottom, leaving the bottom as much as they did. Outside car didn't expect it. Again, it was an accident, of course, and I would expect that we'll get back to some riding here for a little while, is what I would imagine.
Well, let's get ready. Green flags back in the air at Daytona. The Barney the flagman waves the green flag, and Gary Bowman steps on the loud pedal.
Outside line did not go. He's going to fall in line. Will Anderson. Front 5 already single filed out.
Yeah, it's Bowman, Richter, Anderson, Bell. David Gainforth is back there. And then you start to see a little bit of that double file racing, and you see if they do stick in line here. And I'm mostly curious about those drivers who did pit, that being, for example, Jackie Brannon and Jared Anderson. Are they now more willing to race since they feel more comfortable in fuel?
He's got your answer right there. Big move. Elevator from bottom to top for Anderson. He's going to pass a couple. Get hung up with those fresh tires.
And cars behind him. He's got to get some cars behind him quickly here. You got to get that help from behind. There's now a car up front. That'll help. That's the 3. That's Sherman in that very bright sort of highlighter, yellow highlighter green car. Now that top lane is moving. Remember that eBay car up top, that second car line, that black with all the bright colorful Crayola colors. That is the first car that took gas on that pit stop.
And tires. They also took 4 tires on that stop. So a little bit more willingness to go places, although I don't think tires are going to wear terribly here.
Not too much.
You have them nonetheless.
Well, side by side, Sherman now wants to lead, wants to see if he can replicate the success of his wife and at least lead a lap here. And you see the Bucky's car now back in P2. That's Tom Richter pushing all over the back end of Gary Bowman. There's that push. Now pushing in the corner as Richter moves up is not a topic you and I have discussed yet. Now pushing and pushing in the corner are 2 very different skills, and not everyone is comfortable with both.
As the leader and as the follower, for that matter.
Correct.
I've heard a number of times drivers who are leading say push me, but not in the corners.
Not in the corner.
Right? I'm personally, if you get to my back bumper, just push me as hard as you can. I don't care if we're on the tri-oval, in the corners, on the backstretch, just push the car because we're trying to go forward. If you are the pusher, though, sometimes you get uncomfortable pushing in the corners because you don't necessarily trust the guy in front of you to keep it in a straight line.
Very true. Speaking of straight lines, that Motley's in the straight line. That's the 5. He's now moved his way to the front. That's Jared Anderson. Remember, he started back in I think 14 or so. Actually, the last car in the field, actually, is where Anderson started. And he's now up front, leading that bottom lane, trying to lead the race.
This might wake some drivers up for Sunday that maybe tires are an advantage. When you get on one of these restarts, you're able to have a little bit more grip and be more aggressive throughout the field. Still looking for that first lap lead, but in the best position right now to go get it.
The best position indeed. Oh, they're moved down. There is Tom Richter and Corey Sherman. They moved down. They're now going to try and lead that bottom lane. That leaves that blue car up top. That's the going to be the 41 car as your leader. That's Andy Cork. He now wants to try to work this top lane around. Sherman's off center though. Was Sherman trying to get air out of that car, pardon me, or do you think he was trying to peek and see what's doable?
I think that's air is what that is. Again, when you're pushing behind somebody, in fact, let's ride on board here. The inlet for air is right where the nose of the mask on his hood is. Right, that's where the inlet is. So you have to get that part out from behind a car, or else your temps are going to rise significantly. So right there, he tries to peek out a little bit. We'll see if the 34 leaves on the bottom lane. He does not, but he gets off of the 34 to get air to the nose. There's the bottom lane given. Now we're cool to push the whole straightaway. Yeah,
I would say at most you're going to get probably a lap and a half if you're really disconnected fully before you have to be out of it. A lot of drivers, I think, that's the difference in a good pusher and a mediocre pusher, is how comfortable you are pushing those temps. A lot of drivers get really anxious really early and let off too soon. But I always tell people, until that number blinks right in your dashboard, keep pushing.
You can even go further than that. As long as it doesn't hit 280, you're probably all right. The moment you get 280, you could blow the engine up. You're not going to blow it up underneath 280 unless you've already hit 280 at some point in the race.
A couple bits of connection problems here in the race. We'll see if hopefully the drivers get this solved. We saw the 41 car up top had a couple blinks, and I think that's why people are kind of now more anxious to get around and get by that 41 in case that does become a problem. But up front, it is Richter and Sherman leading here. We're now, by the way, already on lap 14. We're more than 25% done with this race. We're quickly approaching the halfway mark here. Anderson now up top, being pushed by the 41, and they are falling back.
I think it's just because Cork doesn't have the greatest connection right now. Drivers aren't necessarily thrilled with having him second car in line. He's a little bit wobbly here. He's also blinked out a time or two, so that hurts the entire line because you can't really rely on that second car to be a good pusher.
Yeah, Larry Colbins needs to get up there and push the 41, but he may not have the confidence to if he knows there's a connection problem involved. But here we are now, 4 cars clear on the bottom. That'd be Richter, Sherman, Music, and Gary Bowman. Music currently the first car now that pitted. That's Music there in that sort of beige, peach. I don't have a word for that color. I was trying to come up with something creatively, and creamsicle?
It's like a sand kind of color almost.
Yeah, yeah.
The 5's in the outside wall a little bit.
5 is in the outside wall. That's Jordan Anderson, by the way. And that eBay machine now gets it back down out of line. Well, 3rd and 4th keep peaking here. Morgan, Music, and Bowman keep peaking that line, and that's not for temps. You don't have that temp problem usually 4th in line. I'm not sure if they're just not comfortable holding that bottom lane, or if they're trying to kind of send smoke signals back to the field of, hey, you know, we want to try this. Who's going to go with us?
Well, if they did, the 15 said, "I'll go. Let's do it."
Yeah.
Jumped out to the high side. That's Gainforth. Decided that he's going to fall back just a little bit to the nose of the 92. Here comes Jürgen with the push. Now they're just holding serve, maybe a little bit for momentum. I do think, though, if that top lane can get up to 3rd and 4th cars in line, we're going to see Music and Bowman jump out and lead that lane.
Now, I'm curious about Music here. The way that car is kind of rocking around, I'm wondering if we could watch the hands here a little bit, watch that steering wheel, it's a little off-center cam, but that'll be okay. I want to see how the wheel reacts in the corner. Oh, there's a gyro cam. But I'm curious, it's the weird thought I have about Daytona, is that some drivers sometimes have some settings like their force feedback set too high.
Right.
And in Daytona, the force feedback can kind of drive the car, as weird as that sounds. Watch a very far back shot here. Let's see what happens in the corner here. How does the hands behave? Pretty smooth, but the exit here, that car typically kind of rockets out of the line a little bit here.
It does.
It does, and it makes me wonder if the force feedback is driving the car and not the driver.
That could be it. It also could be just trying to
always get past you
to get as much speed as you can on the exit to try and get a run.
Yeah, the downside of that move is what you just saw right happen to it. If you do that incorrectly, if you time it poorly, or if you do it too much, then the car behind you will kind of tuck up under you and take your spot. So it could be that. You're right. It could be just trying to time the run and get a good launch out of it. But I have a feeling it's more about the force feedback. And that's one of those weird settings that I think a lot of newer iRacing members don't often understand or get correct, is that you don't need a lot of force feedback in your wheels. I think for some reason the mindset is I need all of it.
Right.
I know that's how I was day one. I have an awful story about 100% force feedback on old Daytona.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was like driving a jackhammer.
Yeah, I bet.
So I did it, right? But I quickly learned, oh, hey, you don't need all that. And so some drivers have it set too high. And so the cars kind of rock back and forth. So we'll keep an eye on that. But now the 41's tucked up behind Music here. And they're going to push and see if they can get that top lane back in line here. You're not missing anything up front. It's the same front 3 for a while. It's Richter, Sherman, and Bowman. Larry Bell, the Canadian, the 43, is back in P4, by the way. And then Doug Lockrow, by the way, P5. Lockrow is that car who hit the wall on the opening lap, and now here is back in P5 after the caution.
Able to rebound nicely, and we mentioned that earlier in the first duel, if you were along for that ride, was that these fields being as small as they are, you can make a mistake and still not be out of the race, because it's fairly, right. I wouldn't say easy, but it's not impossible to make it through the field again. So obviously made a mistake on lap 1, or maybe they tried to fall back. Regardless, lost the draft. Caution caught them back up, and now they're in the top 5.
Right back in the top 5. That top lane maybe starting to creep forward a little bit here. There comes Steven Music and friends up the top lane. And there's a couple ways to do it here. You can, just continue to push and hope that you find a run. You can hope the bottom lane checks up. There is that side draft. That's a risk versus reward conversation at Daytona. You can get down there and side draft and try to break the draft of that bottom lane, but the risk is you get too close and you're caught up in an accident.
That's exactly what happened for the first caution of this race. 21 got side drafted, got into the side of the 92 around they both went. You're right, though. Side draft, it's very important, especially if you're in this situation and that lane starts to fall back. You want to get side drafting and be able to pull everyone back with you and then hope that you can get the momentum back faster and move forward again on the top side. That's really where the side draft is most important, especially when you're in the first couple of cars to the inside line. You don't want to be doing it back here because it's not really going to get you anything.
Not competing at all. Riding on board with the car leading the top lane. They're falling back quickly as Music in that top lane is now falling apart as there's now only 3 cars up there. Now here's an interesting thought. There is a certain value to having cars drop off your lane. I'm not sure that 3 cars is the right number, but 4, I think maybe 5 is the optimal number. That's the less chance of checkups. It's the less chance of drivers kind of mucking up your drafting lane. So I've always believed 4 was the optimal number in iRacing for a drafting line if I could help it.
If you have 4 cars that are all pulling the same direction, so to speak, they're all drafting well with each other. Like we're seeing the top lane starting to get formed here. The front 3 are doing what they have to do. Now we got Music there, who's pretty close to the right spot. I think this will start to move forward quickly as we maybe just got a leader, someone on the lane, on the lead of the lane who really prefers to be the leader of the lane, like we talked about earlier. We might see this lane start to move forward now.
The problem with that leader of the lane, I think, in my mind, without knowing how much damage there is, remember, you watched that 5 car smack the wall earlier when he was up top. Any kind of damage to that car will really just crush your ability to possibly lead a drafting. You might be able to fall in line and draft behind someone, but any kind of aerodynamic damage to the right side of that car will really hurt how much you can lead. So let's find out if there is damage. This will be kind of a quick litmus test, if you will, because we'll see how well that car behaves. There's one more car pulling up here in front of Jordan Anderson, and that's only going to help things with that monster car, and that will help this top lane possibly move faster.
Will only help if they're all able to be coordinated with where they want to run on the racetrack. We saw the 21 kind of go below the seam, above the seam, straddle the seam. That will not work. Now here we go. The 19 is going to take the lane over. 43 drops down to the bottom. We're starting to move and shake a little bit as we just passed halfway in this one.
Yeah, this is a little bit more racy than the first heat. I feel like his Music up in the wall, maybe a small bump or got scared of one. But this is a different heat. We talked about typically, traditionally, in any kind of racing, sim racing, real life racing, whatever, as Anderson says, hey, I'm good. I'm going to back up here. I think I'm good. But this feels like a different heat. It feels more racy, a little bit more aggressive. People kind of really wanting that top lane to work and being aggressive about it. So what I like what Anderson did, assuming he stays in the draft here. Sometimes, remember you and I talked at the end of Heat 1, you could feel it coming. The arthritis in your bones, that Scooby sense of a wreck coming. Sometimes if you're Anderson and you kind of sense that wreck coming, the best thing to do is to back up and let it happen and just sort of, hopefully drive by the carnage.
That's the hope anyway.
Yeah, it's the hope. Here's the AI thief car of course, Sherman. Go ahead, sorry.
The top 2 haven't changed hands at all. Tom Richter, Corey Sherman leading the way.
Given this is the 6th running of the Cyber 500, and we've been covering on Green Flag for at least a few years, and I've recognized Sherman and Richter in this league. That confidence they have, you can see it right there. You can see Sherman was all over the back end of Richter. Richter stayed steady. That's called camaraderie and trust in the draft.
Here comes the top side. Logan Spencer. That silver bullet 19. He's there.
He is there indeed. Having a good time. And is trying to get up here and lead. Maybe a little bit of side draft from the 19. That is Logan Spencer up top in that Coors Light machine. The old Sterling Marlin silver bullets. Trying to get up here. He's up to P3 now. He's up side by side with Gary Bowman. Can he get to the front? It depends on the push. Oh, an aggressive push it is. Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is where the high side starts to fall apart. This is where it starts to gain time, is right up off the corner. No momentum there. The 21 pushed through the corner, but did not get on the straightaway. Maybe the air bubble will work in a positive way. There it is, slowly but surely. The 19's going to creep ahead.
And what I think happened there with Paxton, that you're not going to push. And then what you end up doing is kind of killing that draft and that momentum you had going.
Is your favorite driver leading the race?
Yep, and that Bucky's car out there being pushed around by the AI chief, that highlighter green of Corey Sherman. Then it's Gary Bowman, it's Doug Lockrow, and Nathan Dufton in that number 47, the Freebird car. And I don't know about you, but whenever I see that word Freebird, that guitar riff enters my head.
Absolutely. Absolutely it does.
One car below the line, back. We're okay, but almost a little bit of contact there, but I think we're going to be okay. That was the Petty car I thought I saw back there. Had a little bit of trouble, but all seems to have worked itself out for the moment.
A little bit of work to do here for Eric Anderson. Be able to catch back up to the pack. Hopefully doesn't lose the draft here. I don't think he will. Better not lift out of the throttle at all.
No,
or definitely be in trouble.
This is a sort of a welcome change too over time, how the drafting pack has gotten a little bit better in iRacing. There's a time, I don't know, Morgan, a year and a half ago.
I remember
when that would have been a death sentence right there,
yeah.
right? When you be in the back, be in the last, you could be tucked up against the draft in the last car in line, and you had to like hope and pray and like duct tape yourself to the car ahead of you not to lose the draft. So the fact he's that far back and it's going to be okay, that's one of the improvements in the draft package.
And there was a time where it was like 3 or 4 tenths, like you said. If you went outside that number, you were not going to be able to get pulled back up to the pack, and it was detrimental.
If you squeeze too hard out of the draft.
To even run in the back half of the pack just wasn't worth it. You had to always try to be up at the front, or else you were going to be in a really bad spot.
So the fact that car in the back of Andy Cork, or it's not Andy Cork, sorry, but James Kinder can be back there is and be on this draft shows some of the improvement of that package. Happy along here, Green Flag TV, Derek Watson, Morgan Cook on the call. These are the duels. This sets the outside row for the 6th annual Cyber 500. That'll be myself and Nolan Rimple on the call Sunday at noon Eastern time. That's 9 a.m. for us West Coast people. That's an early casting call for a West Coast commentator. I'll be there with Red Bull.
Whatever works, whatever gets the job done, right?
Well, here we go. And Tom Richter is led not every lap tonight, but a majority of the laps so far. As we're now working lap 32. We're down to the single digits. We've been having fun kind of discussing the field and strategies. And I almost didn't realize how many laps are on the board. We're almost done with heat number 2.
Yeah, 22 laps led out of the 32 we've run so far for Richter, putting on a dominant showing so far.
Here's the question. Is Sherman, is Bowman, is Lockrow content, or are they just waiting to pounce when the time is right?
I think Sherman seems to be content considering how well he's pushed. I don't know about Bowman, and I think Lockrow is ready to go whenever an opportunity presents itself. That's just the vibe I'm getting from the way that their cars are moving around. We saw Kinder, I think, getting the outside wall. They get split 3 wide here. Oh, that was close. There was not a hole up there, but Frith made one.
Yeah, they're going to keep it back 2 wide here. And Jordan Anderson at eBay cars back to the back of the field again, by the way. Now there's a new leader up top. This top lane's moving. That's Larry Colbins, by the way, in the 42. That top lane sort of came out of nowhere. He's now going to pull down in sort of in front of the leader. You can't do this, guys. You need to commit. This is one of those things that they've now committed to the middle lane here, but we'll see if Richter and Sherman and others get back around here. Is that top? There it is. Now they're in front. That 43 was just in the back.
I think they found out that you can push the pusher.
Apparently they did, because they pushed all the way to the front. Richard's not happy. He's going to move up top. He'll take Sherman with him and the whole top lane. Here we go. Now it's getting racy. About 6.5, maybe 7 laps to go at Daytona, and now the heat is on.
34 got out in front a little bit farther than I think he was looking for. We're side by side with the second car in line. There's the momentum. They might have a shot here coming out of 4.
And a big shot out of 4. And Curran Sherman has anything to say about it. A nice push up to the corner. There's a bit of a gap here to that Bucky's car. Now Sherman gets a push back up front. They're side by side out of 4. Here we go to the start of lap 35. It is Richter. It is Colbert leading the field at Daytona.
Richter got him that time. That could be your margin of victory in this race. We'll just have to wait another 6 or so laps to see it. Whole field in this pack, with the exception of Andy Cork, who is all by his lonesome about 25 seconds back of the field. Back to everyone else, still side by side.
And listen, if you're Andy Cork, you're not done, because this is getting a little hot up here, a little spicy. And this takes one bad moment for you to be caught back up on that caution fly. There to go back to the bottom.
Oh, there it is.
There's Richter. And I thought they were going to try and take the 3rd car with them, but it did not work out for the Silver Bullet, that Coors Light machine. And he's stuck up top.
No idea how that wasn't a massive crash. With the 42 below the double yellow, somehow all kept it going in the right direction. We lived to race another lap.
That's amazing. You're right. I was coming. I thought it was there, but you're right. This avoided it somehow. Now starting lap number 36 on the board here. And now we're back to the front. It's Richter. It is Sherman. It is Colbens now in 3rd. And to quote my favorite TV show, Morgan, if you're Tom Richter, is Corey Sherman a faithful or a traitor?
Great question. Don't know the answer. Don't know what the TV show is either.
It's a traitor. It's amazing. It's like watching people play Werewolf. It's a great show. Anyways.
All right. I will take your word for it. Bottom lane here was 5 strong. Make that 4. As Locker decides he wants to try to... Oh, he got shoved out of line. Uh-oh.
3 wide.
That's not what we want to see.
No, and you kind of do, but you kind of don't, right? It's exciting racing to watch it happen, but it's nerve-wracking in the moment. 3 wide through the middle of the field, and if these guys don't get it sorted out, though, they're only going to hurt themselves in these last few laps.
Yeah, Lockro made the wrong move. He's going to have a couple of laps here to make it back up. Here comes the 5. Jared Anderson again from the back to the front.
And that may be a lesson he's decided to learn for Sunday, right? That how easy it is to at least move halfway through the field of what there will be in the 500 on Sunday. But the eBay car's back up front again, middle of the pack still, but leading that top lane. He's got the 42 pushing on back, or no, not 42. Sorry, the Coors Light car pushing 19, on back, yeah. And many others. The 19, yeah. I mixed up my sim racing and my real life racing there for a moment.
Yeah, that Coors Light car 41, 42 for a lot of years.
Yep. The 5 cars going to come on around here now, coming in about 2.5 laps to go at Daytona. This is when it started to get a little bonkers in heat number 1. And they're trying now. There's the 42 and the 43. They're lined up together. That's Colbens right there. That's Anderson behind them. Then you got Anderson. This is going to get wild before it gets better.
We're starting to see the pusher getting pushed here. Everyone is playing bumper cars down the straightaways. Got drivers peeking below the double yellow, trying to see what's happening in front of them. 5 cars all knocking the heck out of each other there on the top side.
Oh, 2 laps to go. Here we go, around Daytona. 5 miles of racing left in regulation. Do we make it around twice? Paul says, check back later.
Yeah, absolutely. 42 got out in front just a little bit.
Oh, man, I hate that slow roll.
Oh, there it is. There's the crash.
There's the crash.
Oh, bunch
right
of
there.
cars in it.
23, the 5. The 69's on the car on the bottom. There's Larry Bell involved in the 05. And with a lap to half to go, the caution is out. Watch this here in the middle of the pack and see what happens.
Yeah, right up at the front here. You just see...
Off center.
No, the 43 went up. I think didn't quite realize how far along the side the 5 was. Hooked them. And around they go.
Yep, around they went. From the front to the back they'll go here as we rack for overtime at Daytona.
Now, we talked about the faster pair in the first race, how I wouldn't have taken it because there was only 1 car who had it. This is a situation where if I was anyone in this accident, other than Music, who has a meatball flag, he's gonna have to repair it. I would probably just hang on to that faster pair, put it in the back pocket.
So I would honestly, I would diagnose that car if I'm Music though, because right. a meatball is not race ending all the time. It could be
Right.
just a broken tire you can fix. If you don't think if it's a blown motor, you have to use your fast repair. That's a duh.
Right.
But the fact he's moving and there's no like that ominous dark gray blackish smoke.
Right. You're right.
I would try and fix it. I would, but I mean,
I think the
you're right.
concern is that right front's not spinning, and we've only got 2 laps to go. Green white checkers, all that. I don't think you're going to get it fixed in time. Is my only concern.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, well, you have 3 green white checkers, so you don't get it fixed the first time and you wreck again.
Right.
Maybe you do get it fixed the second time. I don't know, but yeah, there's a bunch of cars that are wrecked here. So an end of line here could mean a lot on Sunday if all these guys use their fast repair.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a situation where if it's rolling and you don't have to come down pit road, probably just stay out. Or come down and check the damage, of course, but I don't think you need to use the fast repair in this situation.
Yeah, and if there is, do I dare say, a silver lining to damage in Daytona, these are slow pace laps. These are 2-minute pace laps. You can fix about, what, a minute 45, a minute 50 of damage per pace lap here. And that's a good amount of damage to get fixed.
And that adds up very quickly. Most of those drivers probably only got a minute and a half out of that. Now, music probably is more like 6 to 8 minutes with having to replace the left front or right front suspension, but a lot of those drivers should only be on pit road for maybe a minute and a half.
Yep. So it looks like it's going to be 13th on back. It's the 43 of Anderson. It's Steven Music, Doug Lockrow, Jackie Brennan, and Jared Anderson all on pit road. The one that stood out to me that's not on pit road that I thought would have had more damage was the eBay car.
There he is, on pit road.
There he is. He is on pit road. Oh, yeah, that's Jared Anderson. Sorry, I said his name, and then I just slipped my... Yeah, come on.
Right back where he started in 17th position. What a roller coaster to get here.
I mean, a roller coaster multiple. He's been up. I think he's been up and down the field. In NASCAR, they have that stat that iRacing doesn't give us, so the cars passed in a race.
Right.
He's got to be leading.
I would think so. He's passed a lot of cars throughout this one. Yeah, from the back to the front multiple times. I think led a lap or two. In fact, we can check that here. Let's see if he did lead a lap or not. Doesn't show they led a lap.
A couple notes. Yeah, confirm what the chat said. If you use your fast repair, you are EOL'd for Sunday, no matter where you finish in these duels. So keep that in mind. Amanda Sherman, who was in the last race, is now cheering on her husband Corey in this race. Corey, at one point, was P2, and we'll see if he can find his way back up there with Richter.
They worked very well together. They worked
well together.
The white hooded car,
and they're going to be
as well as the.
And they're going to be in the top lane together.
Yeah, as well as that bright green-ish number 3. They should be lined up together, and that will definitely be beneficial for them.
All right, well, here we go. We'll now take the 1 to go. It's our first attempt at cyber overtime in this heat. Remember, we get 3 shots at it. We'll go on around. We'll take the green flag. From there, no matter what happens, if we take the caution, we'll rack it up, we do it again. If we get to the white flag, all bets are off. It's going to be chaos and calamity, probably like it was in the first duel. So we'll see what happens here. Happy you're along for the ride. But after this race, I believe you are going to get taken live directly over to the finale of the Speed Cup Series that's happening over at Pocono Raceway. That's Nolan Rempel and Ron Mons over there. So don't go anywhere after this broadcast is over. YouTube will feed you directly over to the finish of that race. But, well, Morgan, in the last heat, took us a lap and a half to find the carnage. Do you think it does that again, or do we keep it clean, or what happens here?
Great question, and I'm excited to find out. I think we'll be able to make it to the white flag, and then from there, I mean, who knows? It could be right as we cross the white flag. It could be, exiting turn 2. It could be entering 3. It could be, wrecking coming to the stripe. I've seen it all here. I've been part of all of them here. But I think we'll make it to the white.
Well, only one way to find out. So get ready. Get your popcorn ready, your soda, your favorite beverage. Get buckled in here. I think it's going to be a bumpy ride through Daytona. Well, if you're Larry Kolbentz, if you're Tom Richter, you're hoping, I guess, that everything stays calm and no one makes a move. If you're Corey Sherman or the rest of the field, you're hoping to find a gap somewhere to find your way to the front.
Yeah, you only have this opportunity that you know for sure is in front of you, you might be able to get another green-white checker should things go awry, but you got to put all your eggs in this basket. It's go time right now.
Well, pace car is down. We'll wait for the leaders to step on the loud pedal. They do it right about now because the green flag is out. And here we go. Beautiful jump on the bottom lane for this time as compared to the last heat.
But did he get out too far? That's the question. Now the top side's going to be right together with Richter and Sherman. There's a big gap between the 42 and the 19.
Here comes Richter and Sherman. Sherman's up there. The 42 can come up and block or try to. In the slow rolling lane, that's going to be a problem. Now Richter's up top. Sherman, now they're 4 wide. They're going to wreck. Sherman's around. Caution. This is going to be the whole field.
Phew, how did they make it through that in the middle of the field? Oh, my goodness. Few drivers definitely involved in it, though. Sherman, obviously, the main one at the start of it.
Sherman got turned around about 45 degrees in front of the field. A couple other cars involved. Sherman somehow kept that car moving forward. But watch the replay here.
Yeah, this is what I call a 0% move, because there is 0% chance that it's going to work.
I'll tell you what.
4 wide is just not going to happen here.
No, but Corey Sherman made out in that wreck in a way that almost seems improbable, Morgan. If you watch that replay again, gets turned sideways 45 degrees, is sitting in front of the field, and all things considered, I doubt there's very little damage. I mean, there's a lick right there, but watch this. Comes up, maybe a tap right there, doesn't even hit the wall, and drives away.
That should have been a lot worse. Absolutely. He got through that about as well as you possibly could, but frustrating part for him is he only lost 3 spots, too. He went from 4th down to 7th, so really not even, can't even complain about track position for that in that matter, because it all worked out.
By the way, I think I saw a couple of cars towards the back there. I thought I saw maybe Jordan Anderson was involved. He's now on pit road sitting here in the 5, so I'm not sure if that was involved there or something different. But we'll wait and see who is involved when it comes down pit road here.
The 05, Larry Bell was caught up in. I think he and the 21 made contact. That was Paxton Frith down below the double yellow. But I believe it's just those 3 drivers were the main ones involved. Of course, the 8, Gary Bowman, helped trigger that caution, but really just those 4.
So here's a question from the YouTube chat. That's a very valid question. Came from Carter Lawson. Who has gas left?
Great question. Few drivers have yet to pit. Richter, Gainforth, Sherman, Bell, Bowman, and Frith haven't pit yet. If they don't pit here, I have to imagine they can make it to the end. And there we go. Richter.
Yeah, Richter has to
pit.
Here comes Sherman down pit road. Sherman might want to come down and check the car, but the gas will help.
Certainly.
But yep, that's a great question from the YouTube chat. It was something I really had kind of let drift out of my mind, honestly, because we thought we were good on gas. But boy, for Richter and Sherman, that may be the difference of starting up front and starting towards the back on Sunday.
Gainforth has yet to pit. Same with Larry Bell in the 05. Those 2 are still on the same fuel tank they started the race with.
As is Paxton Frith,
Can they make it to the end? That's a big ask. It's a long ways.
I mean, we've had 2, 3 cautions in this race. You're pushing it. You do not want to pull out a lane until turn 4 if you can help it. In fact, you may not want to pull out a lane at all.
Now, on the same token, the first run that we only had the 1 caution in regulation, set up the overtime, and there was really no concern with fuel throughout the entire field. So
we're going a few more laps here. We're now starting under caution to work lap 45, and lights in the pace car are out, so we're not going to go green until lap 47. So we're pushing that number.
Yeah, we're 3. So we finished that first duel at about lap 42. And everyone could make it to the end, it seemed. We've run the extra cautions, so I don't know. It's going to be tight. I think it's going to be tight for sure. I think we can all make it to the end. Now for sure, Richter can on fuel because he just pit. We'll see.
Well, I'll tell you what I do know for sure. If Gainforth, Bell, and Paxton Frith, the last thing they want is the 3rd green light checker.
Absolutely.
There's no way. There's no way they make it a 3rd one. No way at all. So all right, well.
Oh, we just got it. We just got the answer in chat. You can make 2 green-white checker if you weren't leading and saving under caution.
There you go.
There you go.
By the way, getting some additional stats from the YouTube chat's helping out Edward Jurgen. In fact, I remember one last year. The Cyber 500 winner has won it 2 times. So you can always keep that in mind. Amanda Sherman helping out with the stats as well. So thank you to the YouTube chat for hanging out, rooting on your favorite drivers, and helping in your own way in the commentary. It's always nice to get driver perspectives of things that we don't get up in the booth. Lights in the pace car are out. I say it again, I want to be where Jurgen is. In fact, if I recall right, I should pull the archives. We'll get it for Sunday's broadcast. So I recall Jurgen having sort of a win out of nowhere, like an RKO out of nowhere last year for Edward Jurgen. But here's back there with gain 4th. I want to be in Jurgen's seat right now. I want to control my run and make the pass for the win if I can help it.
If you get to the white flag. That's
the white flag.
And it only works if there's no one to your outside. That's the other problem, is you have to be single file for that to work. If you're double file, you're locked in to where you are. You just push as hard as you can and hope that it works out. So I've seen it both ways. I've seen the outside, the driver who led the outside lane. Of course, that's who won Duel 1, was the driver who started second in the situation right where the 19 is of Logan Spencer. They won just a few minutes ago. I would prefer to be on the bottom still. You can get the good jump, you can get the push if you time it up properly, and you have W the line to help protect from the blocking's perspective.
Well, it's about that time. It's time to get your last couple of deep breaths in as a driver. It's time to kind of get yourself calm as you can, get yourself collected, and do whatever it is you think you can do to have yourself ready. Jared Anderson says, by the way, he's officially done, used his EOL. So he is out. So the 5 car done for the race. But who's not done for the race? It's Colbert, it's Spencer leading. Jurgen, Gabreth, Bell, and more are ready to go. Green white checker number 2. Let's get racing. There's the pace car. Here comes the green flag. And we are now back into overtime.
Well, they waited to the very end of the restart zone to go. Bottom lane still with the advantage for a moment. But the top side is much more organized. Where does the run come from?
A big jump again. You mentioned it last time. I think too big of a jump from your leader of 42, but now the pack catches up. That's going to be Edward Jurgen, 2-time winner back here, trying to catch the field. And now there's double file behind. That top lane's pretty organized, though.
They had a run for a moment, but it died just as fast. Inside lane able to hold tough for now.
Remember, there's a couple drivers here now, 4th and 6th in the field, who have not pitted. Are they good on gas? We'll wait and find out. That top lane's going to fall back. When does Jurgen make the move? A 2-time winner would love to lead this race to the flag on Sunday. Here we come. White flag almost in the air. At that point, all bets are off. 3 wide in the back, by the way.
Well, we have 1 lap to go. It's going to be official. Whatever the next flag is, that will end the race.
Now here we go, 5 deep on the bottom. There's a bunch of a little bit of contact right there. That blue car on the bottom is wiggling on around. Now it's a 5-car race up front unless the run builds somewhere. When does Jurgen make the move? It's Colbens, it's Jurgen, it's Dufton in your top 3.
I don't think it's going to happen out of turn number 4 here. Not enough space. There's 3 wide, 2 rows deep in the middle of the pack. The run might come from Kinders. Fairways off the 47. I don't see anything materializing.
Jurgen's backing up. Jurgen's backing up. Does he try and make the run off the corner? Here's the look from the front here now. Wrecking in the back. No caution. They're going to come around. Does Jurgen win it? He does not. In heat number 2, it is Colbens leading us around on Sunday. I thought Jurgen had it.
Well, he did everything he could to get that move done. Just a little bit too late on that move.
Well, that Titan building car of Larry Colbens had the run, a beautiful run. In fact, got a great restart on this green white checker and led both laps all the way around. Watch it here out of, this is the wreck that happened in the back of you believe. There's a 69 flying down the track. Here's the wreck. Watch Corey Sherman up top. I know he's involved.
And there were 3 wide back here, pushing and shoving.
A bad push in the back of Corey Sherman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sherman got tagged by the 15. And they're 4 wide across the grass and still wrecking.
Still wrecking all the way around. Well, we are going to be reminded all race results will be unofficial or race control reviews the last lap, so we'll give you the results in a moment as they're going to be run across iRacing, but we'll wait and see who lines up where for the 500. We'll probably won't get that until after the broadcast. We'll walk you through what we can, but Larry Colbin's on around at Daytona, and he's already got it parked. He didn't even try to burn it down. He wants to save that motor for Sunday, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Seems that way.
Hey, if the car's good, the car's good.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at those results.
All right, well, let's go ahead and pull up those unofficial results. We'll walk you through them here. Of course, Larry Colbin's in the 42 is your winner by less than a tenth of a second, 200ths of a second, by the way, over Edward Jurgen. Nathan Dupton's in P3 with James Kinder and W. Eric Anderson back in P5. Then it's Logan Spencer, Jackie Brannon, Andy Cork, Tom Richter, and Paxton Frith back in your top 10.
11th is going to be Doug Lockrow. Made the move late. Didn't quite work out for him. Larry Bell going to finish 12th in the 05. Stephen Music going to finish in the 09. Will be in 13th spot. Gary Bowman in 14th. David Gainforth in the 15th spot, matching the car number. Sherman will finish in 16th, and Jared Anderson rounds out your field 17th, right where that car started.
That's a look top to bottom at tonight's unofficial results. Well, the result we do know is official is that this man has won heat number 2 of the Cyber 500 Duels. Leroy Colbins, welcome in to the broadcast booth. How does that win feel?
Oh, it feels pretty good. It was a lot of fun.
I think a lot of fun for you because of all the laps you led. Took you a while to get up front there. Richter and Sherman sort of dominated that bottom lane for a while. What do you think helped you get up front there?
Well, yeah, once I was able to get up toward the front and in the high line, my teammate, Eric Anderson, pushed me up to the front, to the lead. So that's what got me up there.
Well, now you'll get to start towards the front Sunday for the Cyber 500. Does that make you feel like you have better odds of winning?
Well, you know, it's a lot more laps, so I'll probably just kind of, ride it out, see how the race goes, and if I can run up front the whole race, I will. But yeah, we'll just have to see how that works out.
All right. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure watching your race tonight. Anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
Yeah, well, thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast for us. Thanks to Tom Richter for putting this whole thing together, and all the admins that are helping him. And Ed Jurgen pushed me to the win there at the end, so especially I want to thank him for that.
I think I've gotten your name wrong a couple times tonight, so I'll say it correctly. Leroy Koblenz, congrats on the win, and we'll see you Sunday.
Yeah, thank you. It's actually Koblenz.
Oh, it is Koblenz. Okay, I was saying it right earlier. Okay, there we go. I got self-conscious at the end there.
Yeah, that's all right.
Fair enough. Well,
All right,
again, we'll see you Sunday.
Yep.
All right, that is your race winner there. And I believe that the 2-time Cyber 500 winner in Ed Jurgen has caught up with Morgan Cook.
Absolutely. Let's catch up with that driver. Ed Jurgen, Morgan in the booth. You got a copy. Still on mute here, not quite able to hear the driver who finished second in this one. Edward, you got a copy?
Guess not. What? Let's flip this out then.
Here.
Let's pull Ed out and let's go to P3. We'll let you talk to the Freebird car of Nathan Dufton.
Nathan, Morgan up in the booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Hey, we can hear someone. Fantastic. Well, your car was sideways a time or two tonight, but you end up on the top 3. Walk me through your day here in an eventful duel number 2.
Well, if I'm being honest, I wasn't really expecting to come up into the top 3. I was honestly just trying to take care of it and see what I can get. And the cautions there late in the race kind of got me up to the front and where I need to be.
Well, as long as it all works out for you, right? And it seemed to here tonight. What did you learn that you can apply to the rest of the duel, or to the to the 500 here on Sunday?
Really just taking care of it until the end of the race, honestly. Figured out that the draft was, very aggressive and you can get a huge run and pull right up to the guy even not being on the throttle. So definitely watching out for that, and yeah, making the whole 200.
Awesome. Well, good luck in that endeavor that you make on Sunday there. And while we have the opportunity, who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out for what was a great run to third place here tonight?
Well, I gotta thank you guys for doing the broadcast. I'm looking forward to watching it back and watching the Sunday race once we're done. And gotta thank everybody that was watching the stream, and hope you come out Sunday.
That's what we like to hear. Thanks for your time, Nathan. Congratulations on P3.
Thank you.
All right, let's try this one more time. Let's see Ed Jurgen. We'll see if he's there. We'll see if we can get a word with our P2 runner. Still muted, but we'll give him a second, see if we can unmute his mic here and be available for comment. If not, we'll move on for the evening. Ed Jurgen, if you got a copy, you want to speak up here? I don't think he does. We'll get him sorted out for Sunday and the broadcast at some point. We'll talk with him, but for the night, I think we're going to have to say he's probably just not available. Well, Morgan, an exciting night of racing, as is tradition. Two very different duels at Daytona happen in front of us.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a very clean and green duel number 1 until right at the very end. Duel 2, a little bit of spiciness sprinkled in there throughout. Both ended up being great races, and I think you guys are in for a great show on Sunday.
Yeah, me as well. So we'll be back live at right around noon Eastern time for the 6th running of the Cyber 500 here on Green Flag TV. Want to once again congrats both winners from the duels tonight on their victories here, and remind you can catch that Cyber 500 Sunday at noon Eastern. Right now, we're going to take you over the Speed Cup Series. Nolan Rimple and Ron Mons on the call at Pocono. Right now, this is Derek Watson, Morgan Cook saying so long and good night from the World Center of Racing.